Okay, what's up, everybody? So, take two. I made a video. It was 13 minutes. I posted it. I was really happy with it. I got a lot of my thoughts out, and it didn't record the audio. So, but hey, that's how it goes. So, I'm gonna try to recap my thoughts from that video in this video. And I know it probably looks funky to have my ears on like a DJ or something, but I find that it is better this way because then I can hear what's going on. And I'm quite certain that this video is actually taking audio from the headphones. So, thank you guys for watching. And what I started the other video, first of all, I apologize that the place is kind of disheveled. We have two small children, one of which is a little potato head, was born on the 15th, Sophia Rose. It's weird that this is mirrored, but hence all of the diaper tower constituent elements there and other, dirty clothes and stuff that we're working on. Thank God our my mother-in-law, my wife's mother, is staying with us through that door. That way. To help. So, I saw a very interesting podcast recently, and it is pertinent to this channel because this channel, my channel, Athletic Medic, Devin Triantos, is about men's mental health. It will continue to be about men's mental health. Men's mental health is something that I'm very passionate about. I not only think that it's an extremely important topic, given its profundity, but also that there is a need in the world. If you want to talk about like markets, this is a very healthy market. My conceptual framework for dealing with the issue of men's mental health is physical fitness, emotional stability, mental health, spiritual satisfaction. And I've been adding recently financial independence to that. So we've got 5 vectors to focus on: physical fitness, emotional stability, mental health, spiritual satisfaction, and financial independence. So there you go. What podcast did I see recently that was very interesting to me? Sean Strickland. I don't know if you guys are into mixed martial arts or the Ultimate Fighting Championship, but Sean Strickland, who is a divisive character in the UFC, who is now the middleweight champion, just went on Theo Von's podcast, Theo Von the comedian. I highly recommend. If you enjoy my content, if you enjoy people talking and being real about real stuff, Theo Von's podcast with Sean Strickland as the guest just came out a week or two ago. Is very, very interesting. In short, Sean Strickland is the middleweight champion of the world in the UFC, and he went on Theo Von's podcast and broke down. He was in tears talking about childhood trauma, instances that he went through with his father, emotionally, verbally, and likely physically abusing both him and his mother as a kid. And he has an older brother too, and he talks about it. And it's very interesting to me because I think it, on the one hand, flies in the face of the idea that people that are high performers got it there, got it easy, it was given to them, that kind of stuff. It's also an interesting thought, kind of to the contrary, that those at the highest level of fighting, martial arts, doing harm to others are those that have been harmed themselves. That whole, hurt people idea. He certainly has been hurt, Sean Strickland, and he, makes no bones about the idea that he is out there to, do ill. Like he says that he stays inside and that he isolates himself and so forth because he's so aware of his kind of internal malevolence. I find that to be fascinating. So in the other video that this is kind of a attempt to recap, my thoughts meandered and I touched on some other issues that then I brought back to the bringing to light that somebody who is a UFC champion went through very intense childhood trauma. The other things that I touched on are myriad, but there's a through line. So namely, I covered on this channel SBF and FTX. SBF is Sam Bankman-Fried, fraudster, huckster, lying, just cheat, cultivated a persona and stole a lot of people's money with a Ponzi scheme that big, powerful people with lots of money and influence were seduced by. And I mean, he had naming rights for arenas and gave hundreds of millions of dollars to politics, if not hundreds, in the high tens of millions of dollars to political campaigns. He had Tom Brady and Steph Curry, endorsing his company. I mean, this is somebody at the highest level, and he was a crook, right? He was just a lying cheat. And if you want to, split hairs about it, at the very least, he was extremely deluded, narcissistic, and given to his own vanity. They had this idea called effective altruism, as in, we'll just make all the money and then we'll figure out what to do with it, and it'll be for the greater good, right? All the tyrants always, all the bad guys in history talk about the greater good. Don't worry about the bad I'm doing to you. That's no problem. It's for the greater good. That's a convenient out, isn't it? Okay, so I touched on SBF and FTX. Kevin O'Leary is a financier, independently wealthy by the looks of it. He was a shark on Shark Tank, and this guy testified in front of Congress that the CEO of FTX, what I was just speaking of, was a good guy. And it's like, how do you stay relevant and respected in the world when you lie like that? It's baffling to me, because I stand on my own integrity. Like, that seems to me to be the only way to stand in shifting waters, in any case. This guy Kevin O'Leary, I still see on my feeds and stuff giving financial advice, and I always comment, I'm like, you guys, this guy is a cheat. He's a liar. He testified before Congress, that SBF was a good guy, and SBF was not a good guy. Okay, and then I see a lot of racism in my feeds, and there's just no denying that there were periods of time in this country and in other countries where racism has been entrenched in law and conduct. Here's the problem that I see. One can't effectively interact with the world by seeing individuals as members of a group. People are not members of a group. People are people. That is to say, you may be, a Boy Scout or a synchronized swimmer, but you're still you. And the only way that you can be responsibly interacted with is based on your decisions in your life. You see what I'm saying? Personal responsibility, personal accountability. And what I'm seeing now is this like white guilt and white fragility and all this anti-white rhetoric, which is so repugnant to me, because I would cough and choke on my words if I were to say the same thing about another, sex or sexual orientation or race, color, creed. That's so immaterial to an individual. I have relationships with individuals. I don't have relationships with groups. I'm not friendly with one, sex, sexual orientation, race, color, creed, and unfriendly with another. That's asinine in my opinion. But that's what I'm seeing. And it could very well be, propagandistic um, you know, kind of media mind control, which seemingly is happening, in my opinion, by kind of the bad actors at the highest level. And so that brings me to my last kind of evidentiary point to then bring it back to the initial, evidence of Sean Strickland that I brought up to then make my point. And that is, we have been, the United States has been a great world power for the last 50 years, since World War II, 60, 70 years, for a reason, because of e pluribus unum, from many, one, right? This is a place where you can come irrespective of your sex, sexual orientation, race, color, creed, and have opportunities to work and advance yourself. Now, that is kind of under siege in the same way that the American family ideal has been under siege for some time by the globalists, the corporate overlords. We are not starting the game of Monopoly right now in the United States. We are at the end of the game of Monopoly, where nobody can pay rent. That's where we are. We're in late stage capitalism. You have 3 or 4 companies: State Street, Vanguard, BlackRock, Klaus Schwab, Larry Fink, Chase, JP Morgan Chase. You have a handful of companies that have all of the money, like hundreds of trillions of dollars of assets under management, maybe tens of trillions of dollars of assets under management. Nobody else is playing the game except them. And the game that they're playing can be quite insidious, in my opinion. And it's a game of disenfranchisement and disindividualization. It's this idea that we can group, the populace and then manipulate them accordingly. It's the old adage of, there's a tyrant in a castle, and the people are storming the castle with pitchforks and torches, and the tyrant goes to the advisor. What do I do? How do I stop them from overtaking the palace? And the advisor, this little Weasley advisor, says, oh, don't worry. All you have to do is convince the torch people that the pitchfork people are after them. And that's what I see as a lot of these kind of psyop, bot attacks and kind of whipping up of the frenzy of racism and sexism and misandry and misogyny and just all of this nonsense. And so what's my point? My point is, there are forces in the world of evil, and there are forces in the world of good, and they all exist resonant in our own hearts, right? The battle between good and evil is internal. Because if you're a good actor, then you can overcome the evil in your life. Okay, what's my point? My point is that, in my opinion, to achieve and maintain the kind of, branches of the tree that I espouse: physical fitness, mental health, emotional stability, spiritual satisfaction, and financial independence, one needs to have the kind of the sap, the lifeblood running through the tree, and that is personal responsibility, personal accountability, personal autonomy, individual sovereignty. And that's the opposite of being a member of a group as one's identity, right? You can be a Girl Scout or a ski patroller or a synchronized swimmer. You can be a member of a group, but at the end of the day, when faced with moral decisions, when faced with how to interact with your brothers and sisters in the world, that's an individual choice. And I see there was one other point of evidence that I was going to bring to account. But when you're a person like Kevin O'Leary, a person like Nikki Haley for the political establishment, there are people that will toe the line for personal benefit. Those are people that, in my opinion, have sold their souls. They have no integrity. They are not individuals. They are merely husks, animated by the forces of evil, exogenous to them. They are being controlled like puppets. And interestingly enough, I'm playing a game called Lies of P that's about Pinocchio, but so there's a puppet connection. But my point in this video, and this is going longer than the original video, so I'm sorry, but the answer to racism, sexism, evil in one's heart is to come to terms with the evil that has been done to each of us individually. Nobody is immune to this. Life isn't easy if you're, a heterosexual white male. Contrary to the nonsense that's being spouted right now, life's hard for everybody. That's just reality. We all are faced with malevolence in interpersonal relationships. We're all faced with our own capacity for malevolence. We're all faced with the eventuality of our own mortality. Life is tragic. That's life. What's beautiful and admirable, and the foundation of every great hero's journey and every great story, is the capacity for the hero, irrespective of or even because of the struggles and scars of life, to go out and do good, to go out and be benevolent, to go out and give love to our fellow, man, woman, child. And so I bring it back to just Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland, good, bad, or indifferent, is an individual. And he's aware of his own capacity to, to talk trash and be a bad guy. He'll tell you as much. What he isn't is a vehicle for others to do their own ill will. You might say that, through his father's actions, he is exactly that. But at the very least, he's a conscious operator. And that's my point. Don't negate your individuality. That's the mechanism through which you can hold evil at bay and advance benevolent love for yourself, your creator, your brothers and sisters, if you're secular, for, the universe, what have you. So that's my point. That was my attempt to recapture the essence of the original video. It was a good video. I was wearing a hat, so it had that going for it. I hope that makes sense. I really love you guys. I appreciate you watching this video. Again, it's fairly simple, the concepts that I'm exploring: physical fitness, mental health, emotional stability, spiritual satisfaction, and financial independence through personal autonomy. That's it. Love you guys.